Well, here are certain figure of speech which are really important for you people. And here we have in the first row we have imagery. What is imagery? Imagery is descriptive writing that appeals to the senses. The descriptive writing that appeals to the senses. What does this mean? How many types of senses are there? There are five types of senses. You all must be knowing it, that sight, taste, touch, smell, and hearing. So, my dear, what is imagery? Imagery is when a writer uses imagery, the descriptive writing helps create a picture or image in our mind. Means imagery is equal to mental image. Okay, while we read out or write out certain sentence and it goes to create a picture in our mind, that is called an imagery. See another example over here. The bearers bear the bride along like a pearl on a string. So the boy sitting over here in the picture, you must be watching it. He is reading out or writing down the sentence. The bearers. The bearers means these two persons who are holding this chariot or dolly for a bride, and they are bearing the bride along like a pearl. They are taking it up as a pearl, right, on a string, right? They feel the bride as soft, as light as a pearl. Okay, so while he read out this sentence, as soon as a picture creates in the mind of the person, I'll give you certain more example. Have you read Daffodil's poem? Have you ever read it? So, if I say daffodils, what it creates in your mind? The daffodils are the flower beddings under the tree, right? I have read it, and that's why while I say this word daffodils, a picture is created on my mind that certain kinds of flowers are under the tree. Okay, so it is called an imagery. Are you getting my point? Imagery is when it creates a picture in our mind, right? For example, the photograph poem, you have read it, right? While we read out the poem, so a picture is created in front of our eyes. What is a photograph? Yes, I have clicked that photograph. That was the photograph when I clicked it, or I clicked it through my mobile phone. So certain kind of picture is created on your mind, and that's why it is called an imagery. I think it is clear to all of you. Next, we'll take a simile. What is a simile? You all must have done it earlier also. There is a slight difference between simile and metaphor. Have you heard it? So, what is simile? Simile is comparing two unlike things using like or as. While we compare two unlike things with like or as, that's called a simile. For example, the same example will come over here as I was defining you as well. We bear her along like a pearl on a string. So the bride and the pearl, they both are unlike things. The bride is a human being, the pearl is an object. So how can they be similar? But they are compared with each other. They are unlike things, and we are comparing the softness of carrying the bride to the softly carried pearl, right? So here we are using a simile because two things are compared with each other which are completely different with as or like, right? Then it is called a simile. Now, here are certain more examples to make it clarify. She sways like a flower. How can she sway like a flower? Right? She is a human being. Flower is again a non-living, or you can say an object. Okay. So she is swaying like a flower. Means we are comparing her with the flower. That's why it is a comparison. but then again we are having like or as. That's why it is a simile. Most of the time you will get certain kind of poetic devices in 12th grade also, over here also. Okay, then she schemes like a bird, she hangs like a star, she falls like a tear. His temper was as explosive as a volcano. Volcano, Jwalamukhi. How can it be compared? It is compared because his temperament is as explosive as the volcano. Okay, so this is called simile. Now we'll go to the another slide. This is now metaphor. What is metaphor? Metaphor, as I told you, there is a slight difference between simile and metaphor. What is that? There are no doubt. First, you should understand simile. That's why I took it first. Two unlike things are being compared, and the words like is or like are used to make the comparison. There will also be two parts in the definition of metaphor. What are those? Just make it clear with this example. Really good to tell you. Mike is like a teddy bear. How can Mike be a teddy bear? Right? He is compared to that teddy bear. Okay, the person is compared to a teddy bear. How? Because Mike is as soft as a teddy bear in other meanings, right? So he is compared by using as a like. But if I say Mike is a teddy bear, no doubt again Mike is compared to a teddy bear. But in hidden, the word is given as a like, but it is not in the picture that as or like is used. Okay, so while we don't have the word as or like in the comparison of two unlike things, then it is called a metaphor. I'll make it clarify with one more example. My dear, you must have heard about Rani Lakshmi Bai. Rani Lakshmi Bai was very, brave lady. All right. So, if I say Rani Lakshmi Bai was lioness in the battlefield, right? So, what it will be? Whether it will be a simile or the metaphor? Rani Lakshmi Bai was a lioness in the battlefield. No doubt, Rani Lakshmi Bai, how can she be a lioness? Rani Lakshmi Bai is compared to a lioness and without using is or like. That's why it is a metaphor, right? But if I, in the same sentence, if I say Rani Lakshmi Bai is like a lioness in the battlefield, then Rani Lakshmi Bai, again it is compared with the lioness, right? So here we are using as a like. That's why it is an example of simile. I believe three things are very much clear to all of you, right? Simile, metaphor, and imagery. Can we see? Let's check out. Might be certain students are waiting over there. Although you all should be on appointed time. Just a moment. I have to go back to the waiting room to check out whether certain students are there. Yes, two students were still here. Depanch, Prerit, you must come on appointed time, beta. Otherwise, I have to make a halt on my presentation. Please be on time next time. So now let's take up another one. Right? So here we have the difference between alliteration and repetition. You must have heard of it. Have you? Okay, let me just make it clarify. What is an alliteration? Just look at, these examples. Bread wore his blue and brown blazer. Right? She sprints like a beam on the brow of the tide. Gaily, oh gaily, we glide and we sing. Six swans went swimming in the sea. So, what are these? Here, bread wore his blue and brown, right, blazer, right? So, the burr sound, right, burr sound was repeated, okay? And here she springs like a beam on the brow of the tide, okay? So, beam, brow, okay? These are then gaily, oh gaily, we glide, right? And we sing. Six swans swimming in the sea. So, what are these? These are the repetition of the consonant sounds. Are you familiar with the vowel sounds and the consonant sounds? The vowel sounds, no doubt you all say that there are five vowels A, E, I, O, U. But if we talk about the sounds, my dear, these are not only five. There are 20 vowel sounds. Otherwise, how can you make a difference between sit and seat? We can make the difference through our phonetic sound, right? That's why sit is SIT and it has a different meaning. Seat, SEAT, and that has a different meaning. Sit, betna, seat, on the seat, right? So, same way we have 20. We'll talk on it later on. So, my dear, the consonant sounds, except our vowel sounds, all the sounds which come in our phonetic sounds, so those are consonant sounds. So repetition of consonant sound is alliteration. Now see here, to make it clarify, this is the example. Sue shook her silky silver hair as the sun was setting. Sa sound. So sa sound, again it is a consonant sound. In Hindi you must have heard about swar and vyanjan. So vyanjano ki jab hogi repetition, then it is called alliteration. But can it be an example of alliteration? Although I have written not alliteration. Why? Because see, Elizabeth easily eyed an elephant in the elevator. Alright? Elevator. Elizabeth. A sound is there. Easily, E sound is there. Although it is having E letter, but the sound is vowel sound. Elizabeth easily eyed an elephant in the elevator. Right? So, not only the first letter is repeated, you want, sometimes students make, mistakes over here. They see the letter is repeated, so they call it as alliteration. But this is not right, my dear. When the consonant sound is repeated, then only it will be alliteration. Right? If the vowel sound is repeated, then it won't be alliteration. Same with this example. Elizabeth easily eyed. This is vowel sound. That's why it is not alliteration. I think so. It is clear to all of you. Now there is a difference between alliteration and repetition. Let me just make it clear first. I have prepared certain slides more. Yes, repetition is, as the word says, repetition means repeating of the word. When the whole word is repeated in a short space of words, also, right? The poem, in the poem you must have seen either it is having 5 to 6 words, or 7 to 8 words maximum in a line, right? So in a short space, if we have the repetition of the word, then it is called repetition. Okay, so for example, in the poem, you must, that is in 12th grade. My mother at 66. In the last extract, there was smile, smile, and smile. And yes, of course, in your poem, a photograph we have at the end. It's silence, silences. So the whole word is repeated. Okay, so it is called a repetition. Right, my dear? So, alliteration is repetition of consonant sounds, not the vowel sounds. You must be clear in it. And repetition is repeating of the whole word. Okay, now let's go back and see certain more. Yes. Priya and I think so. Uh, Rohini, she has asked about the Synecdoche. It is Synecdoche. My dear, Synecdoche nahi. The pronunciation, you must be very clear about the pronunciation. Why? Because while you go for an interview, a person judges you on the basis of your not only marks, rather on your communication skills, on the basis of how you interact with the person, right? So the correct pronunciation of this word is synecdoche, right? What is it? This is a figure each in which a part is made to represent the whole, or vice versa. Means part as a whole or whole as a part, right? थोड़ा हंसाने वाली बात भी कहूंगी, इसे मैं कहती हूँ हाथी के पैर में सबका पैर होना. मतलब जब हम कोई एक छोटी सी बात करते हैं और उससे सारी बातें क्लियर हो जाए, then it is called synecdoche. How? Let's take up an example over here. England lost by 6 wickets and India won. So here England shows the English team, the whole English team, right? The one word is representing the whole English team, and India is showing the whole Indian team, right? So here a single word is defining the whole. Okay, that's why it is called synecdoche. Alright, there was a question in your PT1. That's why I'm explaining this, poetic device to you. Somewhere it will come, definitely. Okay, then I'll explain you through that, phrase also. So I believe through this example, it is clear to all of you. Right? Now, let's see next one. What is onomatopoeia? What is onomatopoeia? Onomatopoeia is a word that sounds like its meaning. Very simple. Onomatopoeia. बोलते हुए ये लगता है ना जैसे कोई sound सी चल रही है. Okay. So when this figure of speech is related to the sound, right? So while we have certain sound, it can also be described as the use of a word which imitates a sound. For example, screech. If the word, while you write something with the pen and or you take out some table on the floor, right, then it makes some sound, screeching sound. Okay, so that is called onomatopoeia. Whirr, sizzle, crunch, okay, bang, zap, roar, roar. While we have this word roar, so a picture of lion comes in our mind, isn't it? So roar shows the sound of a lion. That's why it is called a onomatopoeia. Okay, see here, buzz. When it is a word buzz, it comes in your extracts of the poem, right? So buzz means the buzzing sound of a bee, right? Ring means the mobile phone or the phone, right? So while certain kinds of words come which relates to the sound, then it is called onomatopoeia. I think it is clear to all of you. Let's go to the next one, that is called personification. What is this personification? हिंदी में हम इसे कहते हैं मानवीकरण, राइट? मानवीकरण यानी कि giving human traits or characteristics to something that isn't human. जो human being नहीं है उसको human being बना देना, right? Such as animals, objects or non-living things, right? When a writer uses personification, he or she gives characteristics of a person to an animal, object or thing. ओके किसी इंसान की क्वालिटीज को एक नॉन लिविंग को दे देना. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हेयर द विल्लो ट्री shook her long hair. Right? How can a tree shook her long hair? He is the tree is not a human being who is having long hair, right? It means the branches of the tree that were swaying in the wind, just like the hair of a person, right? So here in this sentence, the willow tree is given the characteristics of a human being. That's why it is called personification. As I told you, in Hindi it is called मानवीकरण. किसी नॉन लिविंग ऑब्जेक्ट को ह्यूमन बीइंग की कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स देना. That is called personification. I believe it is clear to all of you, right? So repetition we have done. Then oxymoron. This is a figure of speech in which two opposite ideas are joined to create an effect. Two opposite ideas are joined to create an effect. For example, if I say kind, unkind, cruel, kindness, the example has been given here also. Living, death. How can a death be living? Two contradictory words, two contradictory meanings are given, right? That's why it is an oxymoron. Okay, it is a combination of an adjective preceded by a noun with contrasting meaning. ठीक है, सेम मीनिंग नहीं होगा, कंट्रास्टिंग मीनिंग होगा, then it is called oxymoron. Okay, in a single phrase or in a certain line, if you get two adjectives having contradictory meanings, right, and coming collectively, then only it is called oxymoron. As it is given, cruel, kindness. Cruel bhi hai, kindness, kind bhi hai. How can it be? Right? So opposite meanings have been given. Okay, living, death. Living be and death be. How can it be? Alright, this is oxymoron. Then transferred epithet, as you have asked about it. I have told you in transient feet in the poem photograph. It has been given transient feet, right? Transferred epithet. What does this mean? A figure of speech in which a modifier qualifies a noun other than the person or thing it is actually describing. ओके मतलब क्या है कि आप एक चीज के बारे में बात करें जो दूसरे के बारे में बता रही हो. अगर हम हिंदी में कहें, इसे कहते हैं हस्तांतरित उपाधि. ठीक है, मतलब आपने बोला कुछ और उसका मीनिंग कुछ और है, किसी और के लिए भी है. ट्रांजिएंट फीट माने मोमेंटरी. If I say here, it is very good example. I had a wonderful day. How can a day be wonderful? दिन कभी वंडरफुल नहीं हो सकता. इसका मतलब क्या है कि आपने कुछ ऐसे इंसिडेंट्स देखे, आपने कुछ ऐसे एक्सपीरियंस लिए पूरे दिन में जो बहुत वंडरफुल थे, जो बहुत अच्छे थे. ओके, सो द डे इज नॉट इन इटसेल्फ वंडरफुल. द स्पीकर हैड अ वंडरफुल डे. The epithet wonderful actually describes the kind of the day the speaker experienced. Are you getting my point? Right? Same way as I told you, transient feet. Okay. Sorry, the time is over. We have to go back. Thank you so much.